I do what I do.
They do not know what they talk about. Haints is the proper terminology that the old folk used to use down in Mississippi. Nevertheless, there's another scholar. Her name is Elaine Parsons, and she wrote a book called The Ku Klux Klan, The Birth of the Klan during Reconstruction. The white costume and the ritualistic behavior of the Klan were calculated to exploit the fears of the newly freed black people. You know, they turned superstition into a weapon of control, and the goal was clear: to make people afraid again. You see, now of course, people with good sense knew what it was, but it definitely there to scare women and children. Okay, and the ones who were fearful at heart. Keep in mind, a lot of these black men had fought in the Civil War on behalf of the Union, so they had unalived some of these Confederates. I need you to understand that. See, they always try to paint this picture. Oh, these poor black people were so afraid until they're able to draw down on you with a pistol or a gun or a rifle. You see what I'm saying? Nevertheless, let's get back to it. The Klan, the other white supremacist group, like the White League and the Red Shirts, they weren't just vigilantes. They were political actors. Their aim was to suppress black vote and destroy Reconstruction governments and resurrect this racial caste system. And this was named Jim Crow. Jim Crow was originally a song. And the song became a label for these unfair laws, okay? But what happened was night by night, county by county, they went about restoring this power dynamic, okay? And they momentarily disrupted emancipation. Schools were burned, churches were bombed, black elected officials were assassinated, all while the federal government looked the other way, okay? So yes, there were moments of black retribution during Reconstruction. There were instances where the long-suffering brothers and sisters struck back, but these were the exceptions, not the rule. The vast majority of formerly enslaved people simply wanted to live and be reunited, but these white folk wouldn't leave them alone. You see what I'm saying? They wanted to come back with it. So now what happens? What happens is what always happens: resistance to retaliation. And so here's the thing, okay? The terror didn't stop, and neither did the resistance. Now, most Americans are taught about Dr. Martin Luther King's peaceful marches and Rosa Parks quietly sitting in defiance in the back of the bus, okay? And what's almost entirely absent from the national narrative is that much of the civil rights movement survival depended on black men with guns. You understand me? The nonviolent face of the movement was often only possible because violence, righteousness, organized and strategic self-defense stood right behind it, watching from the rear. See, this is the part they don't teach you in school, do they? Tell the truth. This is what they don't teach you in school. They don't want you to hear any parts of this. And I'm not a person that's advocating violence. I do believe in protecting your family and protecting yourself from knuckleheads and fools out there and anybody else who wants to take your life. All right? But you definitely have an obligation under God's law to protect yourself. So after the withdrawal of the federal troops and the rise of Jim Crow laws and black folks were subjected to a new century of terrorism, lynchings, arson, mob attacks, state-sanctioned police brutality. The KKK didn't disappear, it evolved. And in 1910, again, it showed up again in 1950, and it's in the bloodstream of America, you see? But unlike the first Reconstruction era, this time black folk didn't just take it, all right? So now we want to talk about the Deacons of Defense, okay? And the original purpose of somebody, Deacons of Defense, right? This is a forgotten vanguard of armed black resistance. Now, I graduated from Grambling State University, and I do remember a little town called Jonesboro, Louisiana. I actually had to drive over to Jonesboro, Louisiana, and I had to pay a water bill or something like that. So little did I know that Jonesboro, Louisiana, in the sweltering summer of 1964, was the height. This was the height of the civil rights movement, and this little rural town in North Louisiana became the cradle of the most militant black self-defense group in American history, called the Deacons of Defense and justice. A national flashpoint. It was a forgotten battleground where the fight for Black dignity and survival played out, far from television cameras. Now, a lot of folk in New York and a lot of folk on the West Coast, y'all just swear up and down, y'all are just the toughest things out there. Can you imagine being in Jonesboro, Louisiana? I want you to imagine Jonesboro. Jonesboro, Louisiana is about halfway from one end of the Louisiana state line and the other end, okay? You can drive from Dallas, Texas to Jackson, Louisiana on I-20. And if you drive, let's say east or west on I-20, you will come across the Jonesboro exit. And little do you know, this is where it all started. All your Black Panther, all that started right here, okay? That's what I need you to understand. You will fly by this place and not notice it like it would be as insignificant to you as a fly on a cow's butt in a pasture 100 yards off the highway. You won't even notice it. But this is American history. I want y'all to understand that, okay? Now, what you need to understand is the racial climate. It was going on in the American South. It was terror under color of law. It was legal for them to do this. Because see, at the time, the Jim Crow South, it still ruled large swaths of Louisiana with an iron fist. Segregation wasn't just legal, it was brutally enforced by both private citizens and public officials. Okay, local governments in places like Jonesboro often operated in open collaboration with white supremacist groups, particularly the Ku Klux Klan. And the Klan didn't wear their hoods. In the shadows here, they patrolled the streets. They burned the crosses in the front yards, and they assassinated people with impunity, knowing full well the police, the prosecutors, the judges, and the juries were probably all either members or sympathizers. I want you to keep in mind, this is 1964. Remember, you had Black folk leaving the South. They was running out of Detroit. They was getting the hell out of the South. They were going to Louisiana, leaving Louisiana, going to Oakland, going to Los Angeles, going to Detroit, Chicago. All right, it was nothing left but the Black folks who said, we not running, we fighting. This is what I want you to understand. It was so hard down living South that some folks said, man, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. But the real one stayed. And that y'all keep that in mind. You have Black men and say, I'm not going anywhere. Matter of fact, we not going anywhere in the face of this onslaught of racism, overt racism, no justice here in the heart of the South in North Louisiana, heavily forested, economically depressed region. Black residents lived under daily threat of racial terror. White mobs had long used intimidation to suppress Black political activity, especially voter registration drives, okay? Especially that. People's homes were firebombed. Churches were vandalized. Churches. Black men were dragged from cars and beaten the worst, and the law did nothing. So in the national consciousness, the 1964 was the year of the Civil Rights Act of Dr. King's sermon and Freedom Summer. But in the Deep South, nonviolence was a fragile experiment. The movement's philosophical leaders preached turning the other cheek, okay? That's what the Civil Rights Movement preached. But on the ground, in places like Jonesboro, Louisiana, cheeks were bloodied over and over again without protection or relief. Civil rights workers, many of them young and idealistic, came down from New York and all these different enclaves in the North, these liberal bastions, right? And they came down to Louisiana and under the banner of peaceful resistance, and what they encountered was sniper bullets and burning crosses and the constant sound. Shout out to Eddie Washington. Thank you so much. A constant sound of car engines rolling slowly past their homes at night. It became increasingly clear that marching and singing and sitting would not be enough, not in Jonesboro, okay? And so the war veterans, who are we talking about? Let's talk. Where's that warrior spirit, that African warrior spirit? You saw it. Here we go. The war veterans. It's 1964. So you got war veterans. You got World War I veterans. You got World War II veterans. You got Korean War veterans. You might have a few people coming in and out of Vietnam. You had soldiers. There was one. His name was Ernest Chili Willie Thomas. Somebody type Chili Willie in the chat room. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D. People wash their ass in the tub. Kamala Harris.
You were tuned in to Uncle D. Black man talk, pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something, then you earn something. Let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. There's a king here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Attorney Spurling, this ain't pearly, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shootin', give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Holly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, voting earns. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you've been served, gotta notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I'll do what I do.
Somebody need to whip your ass.
Get up and whip him, Sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Flowbee and cut your own damn hair from now on.